K-Channel News with Comedy Affairs. Panig sa katotohanan, panig sa pagsulong ng kalokohan.
Sa ulo ng mga nagkatarantaduang mga balita. Bagyong Tino dumaan sa Pilipinas, napinsala sa Visayas. Sa katunayan niya, ang Central Cebu at Northern Cebu ang lubhang napinsala dulot ng Bagyong Tino. Philippine loper na si Ferdinand de la Merced dineklara persona non grata sa Negros Oriental matapos ang kanyang comments tungkol sa Bagyong Tino.
Respect, gratitude, and decency expected of visitors, and deems it proper to declare him persona non grata in the best interest of the province and its people.
Salamat, Governor ko.
Konsihal mula sa Carcar City habang nagsispeech, aksidenteng na-mention ang previous na gobernador. Ang reaksyon ng gobernador, tinawa lang. Ang buong video sa ganitong eksena, alamin!
Hi guys, so today, papunta pa lang ako sa river kasi inimit ko yung GMA 7. Kanina pa nila akong hinihintay eh.
Bata nga nagmaneho ng kotse papunta sa ilog, nag-viral. Ang resulta, LTO. Sinuspinde ang lisensya ng ama ng bata at pinatawad pa ng show cause order. Ang dahilan, alamin! At all-purpose queen na si Queen Yasmin naging font na sa Canva. Mga iba't ibang bahagi o mga iba't ibang mga sikat na mga pages ginamit ang kanyang font. Paano kaya makuha ang Queen Yasmin font sa Canva? Yan ang ating alamin!
Magandang umaga, tanghali, hapon o gabi o magdamag sa ating lahat. Ako nga po pala si Fritz Andolas Timoso, ang inyong lingkod.
Fritz, ang Timoso, mayor namin yun.
Ay, sorry.
Kapag napanood niya to, ewan ko na, abogado yun. Baka makasuhan ka. Ay, hindi, baka makasuhan ako. Kapag makasuhan ako, idadamay kita.
Ay, naku, huwag yun.
Pasensya na po. Hindi lang po talaga niya alam na ano yan. Kasi idol niya kayo eh. So yun, shout out sa mayor namin. Ulitin mo kasi yung intro.
Uulitin ko po, magandang umaga, tanghali, hapon, gabi o magdamag sa ating lahat. Ako nga po pala si Fritz Johnny Soler, ang inyong lingkod at pagbabalita ngayong araw na ito.
At ako po si Renzo Soler na ito naman nakatarantado mga balita ngayon ko 10 ng Disyembre, taon na lang po, 25. Una sa balita ay bigyan mo sa okay. Humigit na isang buwan na nabubulok ang balita ko sa gallery at yun lang po na balita. Pagpasensya na po, ngayon lang po na-release.
Wala kaming pakialam!
Mag-isang buwan na nakaraan mula humagupit ang Bagyong Tino at iba pang mga bagyo. Opo, hindi lang po isa kasi yung bagyo, kundi hindi rin dalawa, kundi 3 bagyo ang dumaan dito sa Pilipinas. Noong nakaraang Nobyembre, ang pinakabuod ng balita ay ating malalaman dito sa segment na The Deep Dive kasama sila Jem Niger at Mary Gouls.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are jumping straight into a really high-stakes investigation of the 2025 Philippine meteorological crisis.
It's a textbook case of what experts call compounding disasters.
Absolutely. Our sources are detailing 3 huge storms, Tino, Uwan, and Verbena, that all hit within, a 30-day window?
It was an incredible stretch of volatility. The season started late, but then November just exploded. Sea surface temperatures were so high, and that fueled this extreme rapid intensification.
So we're not just talking about the weather.
Not at all. We're looking at how localized resilience, this amazing community spirit, really slammed up against an overwhelming systemic failure.
And how that failure, interestingly, led to a huge policy success just a few weeks later. So our mission today is to unpack all of that, the catastrophic impacts, some of the surprising details.
Like the 8 landfalls.
Exactly. 8 landfalls in less than 2 days. And we'll get into the legislative shift that followed, which, as it turns out, was absolutely life-saving.
So where do we start? Tino.
Let's start with Typhoon Tino.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually the strongest storm, peaking at about 150 kilometers per hour. But what made it so destructive was its path.
Right.
It made an astonishing 8 landfalls in less than 36 hours. Just think about that. Mostly across the Visayas, which just trapped millions.
And it hit areas that were already, they were already profoundly vulnerable.
You're talking about Cebu.
I am. Tino dumped 428 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours. That's more than their average for the entire month.
Wow.
And this happened, just 2 months after a magnitude 6.9 earthquake had hit the same area. So people were already in temporary shelters.
So they were already displaced.
Exactly. The data actually talks about double homelessness for some of these families. It's just tragic.
And the human cost was.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to grasp. The official death toll hit 269. Over 150 of those were in Cebu alone.
And it wasn't just the rain and wind. You had secondary hazards.
Right, the Lahar flows.
The volcanic mud flows from Canlan volcano, they were lethal. They contributed to, I think, 103 deaths in the Negros Island region.
So amidst all that systemic strain, the crisis was really defined by these individual human stories.
It had to be.
And that brings us to J-Boy Magdadaro, a 15-year-old kid from Lalone, Cebu.
An incredible story of courage.
He used a small wooden boat and a salbabida, like a lifebuoy, and just navigated these neck-deep floodwaters from morning until afternoon. He's credited with saving more than 50 people.
50 people, pregnant women, the elderly.
And his story immediately sparked this institutional critique, didn't it?
It did. The viral sentiment online was, J-Boy 50, Lalone LGU 0. It captured that sense of public frustration.
But it does raise a question, right? I mean, was that entirely fair? Could any regional government really handle a disaster of that magnitude on its own?
That's a really crucial point. And the sources do highlight what they call the unseen heroism.
The Bayanihan spirit.
Exactly. That community collective effort. You had waste collectors in Talisay City, transport workers, all of them filling these huge logistical gaps that the government just couldn't.
And it's that lack of agility under Tino that I think directly led to the urgency for the next storm.
Which brings us to Super Typhoon Uwan.
Uwan was a completely different beast, a meteorological brute. It was way more powerful than Tino, peaking at 185 kilometers per hour.
And it was massive. The diameter was 1,800 kilometers.
That's wider than the distance from Manila to Hong Kong. It just dominated the entire region.
Which is what makes the Uwan paradox so interesting. Despite being so much stronger and larger than Tino, Uwan resulted in a remarkably low casualty count. Only 33 people.
33.
Oh,
so why? What changed?
A new law. The Declaration of State of Imminent Disaster Act, RA 12287.
So how did a piece of legislation manage to overcome a super typhoon?
Yeah.
What was the actual mechanism?
It basically allowed the government to bypass all the usual red tape, all the time-consuming procurement and budgeting rules.
So they could move faster.
Much faster. It let them release emergency funds and coordinate a preemptive evacuation of 1.5 million people before the storm even made landfall. It was a total shift to anticipatory action.
But the crisis didn't just end when the storm passed.
Oh, not at all. You had a third storm, Verbena, which was less intense but just added to the misery. 5 weeks later, you still had over 355,000 people displaced.
And I remember reading about the labor disputes.
That's right. BPO workers in Cebu, where firms were trying to force a business-as-usual policy even in unsafe conditions. The struggle continued.
So at the end of the day, the 2025 crisis was defined by both things. You had Tino, which destroyed over 42,000 homes and relied on individual courage.
And then you had Uwan, which proved that systemic legislative agility proven by that new law, RA 12287, could save thousands of lives.
So the fact that the names Tino and Uwan were retired from the list says it all, really.
It confirms the unprecedented destruction. But that success with anticipatory action gives us a clear, science-based path forward for hazard mitigation.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question for you to think about. When a crisis like this hits, is that individual heroism we saw, a beautiful act of selflessness? Or is it actually evidence of a systemic failure, where society is forced to rely on a 15-year-old to do the essential work the state just couldn't deliver, something for you to mull over?
Samantala, tumakilid ang isang pampasahirong bus matapos na suungin ang baha dito sa lungsod ng Binalbagan sa Negros. Ilan sa mga pasahero ay nasugatan matapos ang aksidente. Nagpabalita dyan si VT Ethan.
Isang pampaserong bus ng Ceres Liner Bus number 7848 na biyaheng Dumaguete City ang natumba sa National Highway sa Barangay Marina, bayan ng Binalbagan kaninang hapon, Nobyembre 5. Patungo sa bayan ng Binalbagan ang nasabing pampaserong bus ng Ceres Liner 7848 na biyaheng Bacolod to Dumaguete via Mabinay nang tinangay ng malakas na tubig dahilan na nahulog sa kilid ng kalsada. Kuha sa video ang pangyayari ng nasabing pampaserong bus. Wala namang napaulad na saktan sa pasahero at driver at konduktor. Balita mula dito sa bayan ng Binalbagan, Negros Occidental. VT Ethan, K-Channel News.
Dineklarang persona non grata sa Negros Oriental ang binansagang Philippine looper na si Ferdinand de la Merced. Ito'y matapos na nagbitiw ng komento si de la Merced tungkol sa bagyo. Sa komento, aniya sinabi ng looper na yung pagdadaan niya ng kada lungsod ay isang beses lang daw. At yung bagyo ay isang natural lang na kalamidad at dadaan lang daw. At mas di umano, hindi siya importante dahil sa komento ni de la Merced ay nag-file na resolusyon ang Negros na hindi na papapasukin pa si de la Merced dahil sa kanya komento. Narito ang video sa pagbasa resolusyon sa persona non grata ni de la Merced.
Allow me to read the resolution, Your Honor. Whereas Mr. Ferdinand de la Merced, also known as the Philippine Looper, arrived in Dumaguete City and the province of Negros Oriental on November 1, 2025, and was provided with complementary accommodations by the provincial government. Mr. de la Merced further published remarks describing typhoon risk as routine and his own event as rare, and actively criticized the perceived lack of attention which were considered insensitive and disrespectful to the officials, employees, and people of Negros Oriental, given the extraordinary circumstances and urgent public safety activities then underway. The Sangguniang Panglalawigan finds Mr. de la Merced's conduct inconsistent with the values of respect, gratitude, and decency expected of visitors, and deems it proper to declare him persona non grata in the best interest of the province and its people.
Aksidenteng nabanggit ni Konsehal Bebe Bercenas ang dating gobernadora sa gitna ng kanyang pagsasalita sa Kabkaban Festival noong nakaraan doon sa Caracal City. Nasa presensya roon ang gobernadora na si Governor Pambari 4. Sa gitna kasi ng speech sa festival ay aksidente nabanggit ng konsehal ang dating gobernadora na si Gwen Garcia. Kagad naman na kinaliw ng mga audience ang aksidenteng pagkabanggit ng dating gobernadora. Narito ang video.
Pagkatuig laganang mo kanindot. So salamat natong kanyan. Salamat Governor Gwen Pambari 4. Sorry kayo. And of course, ako sa pinalangga na Congresswoman Gretty Lawson and Vice Governor Glenn Soto. Sorry kayo, Dog. Maayong gabi once again.
Sayop man pagsulti, nagwin man.
Suspendido sa loob na 70 araw ang lisensya ng ama ng bata matapos na mag-viral ang video na kung saan ang kanilang anak ay nagmamaneho ng sasakyan. Minor de edad pa kasi ang bata, makikita sa video na nag-vlog at nagmamaneho ang bata papunta sa ilog para makapag-meet sa isang reporter ng GMA. Nang in-upload ang nasabing video at samat-saring reaksyon ng mga netizens, ilang linggo ang nakararaan ay pinatawan ng LTO o Land Transportation Office ang pagsuspende na lisensya ng ama ng bata at pinatawad ng show cause order ang magulang ng bata. Labag kasi yan sa Section 23 sa loob ng batas ng Republic Act 4136 na nagsasabi na bawal magmaneho ang minor de edad.
Nagkaroon muli ng Guinness World Records ang Pilipinas matapos na naangkahangkin ng pinakamalaking donation ng pondo sa loob ng isang oras o sa English record for the largest donation of condoms in just 1 hour. Sino ba kasi magdodonate ng kondom? Sa disperasya ng World AIDS Day 2025, nakapagtala kasi ng nasa 13,312 na donation ng kondom ang protected and proud na World AIDS Day event, concert at donation drive na inorganisa ng DKT Health Incorporated, Watsons at UP Babaylan sa Sunken Garden ng UP Diliman. Bakit sa lahat ng madodonate condom? AIDS. Okay, we get the AIDS, but napaka-news is sa pananaw ng ibang tao, unusual yung condom. Ang tanong, ano gagawin sa condom? Di ba, Fritz? Isn't that concerning? Sa pananaw lang namin to, opinion lang namin to, okay, makupit. Pero, saan natin gagamitin yung condom?
Ewan ko rin, iba na talaga yung panahon ngayon.
Sweet Home Alabama.
From memes to fonts ang naging panibagong amats ng all-purpose queen na si Queen Yasmin. Matapos na siya naman ang naging tampok sa bagong font at graphics mula sa sikat na photo and video editing app na Canva. Available na po noon, pang ika-30 na November, ang graphics, mga tinatawag na Queen emojis, na kung saan ay tampok ang mukha ni Queen Yasmin at syempre ang pinakatampok ay ang fonts at numbers na siya mismo rin ang gumawa. Iba't ibang mga sikat na Facebook pages ang gumagamit ng Queen Yasmin font. Yan lang po ang news celebrity update for this month. Back to you!
What's the use of... Saan ipapadala yung condom kung na-donate na nga nila sa UP? Ibabahagi ba nila sa couples or what? Kasi mostly lalaki yung gagamitin yan eh. Mga protection pala nila. Well, if we go to education, we do safe sex. Yes, gagamit talaga yan. In fact, numero 1 talaga yung sa condom sa instrumento ng safe na pagtatag. So, we can blame it though. So, magagamit yan for awareness para hindi ma-spread yung AIDS. At yung AIDS, dun lang sa loob lamang. So, anyways, so, marami pong salamat sa panonood. At maraming salamat sa aking kasama natin ngayon na pumayag na makasali ko sa episode na ito. Ito yung pinsan ko mula talaga sa Maynila. At kung mapansin nyo, napakalutong yung kanyang Tagalog kaysa sa akin na medyo matigas yung accent ko because Bisaya, Madjugo, kung saan man yun. So, galing ko sa Manila kaya malutong yung Tagalog niya. And yun, friends, thank you very much for joining for this episode. At yun, at dyan natatapos ang mga nagkatarantado mga balita ngayong ika-10 ng Disyembre taon 2025.
Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong pakikinig mga kababayan. Kung gusto niyo pa po ng mga ganitong news reports, mga comedy news reports, mangyayari lamang na mag-like, share, at inyong i-click ang notification bell dyan. Mag-subscribe na rin kayo kung gusto niyo pa ng ganitong mga video. Yun na po, maraming pong salamat.
Galing na. Kaya wag niyo akong tularan.
Ako yung wag ninyo tularan.
Bakit?
Wala, ewan.
Ayaw mo patularan, walang dahilan.
Ewan. New Guinness World Record! Yay! Gondo!
At agad po, ayan na po, malapit na yung Pasko, 15 araw na lang po. At Pasko na po! Advance Merry Christmas po sa mga cool natin mga kababayan. At sa mga cool natin mga Filipinos and some people that work out there. Yeah. Ananiwala ko sa kasabihan. kapag ikaw ay matutulog, humiga ka. Hindi pa niya nakapisado yung dinasugan. Naniwala ko sa kasabihan na dyan natin po sa mga nakatanto mga balita. At magandang araw, gabi sa inyo lahat.